Hello guys and welcome back. In this tutorial I will show you how to create this beautiful red poppies using very simple and easy technique. Even if you are a beginner, you should be able to create them. Check out more details for the supplies in the description and have fun creating. Don't forget to check out my other videos and subscribe. We're gonna start with the top part of the flowers. So I'm mixing my reds. I'm using cadmium red and alizarin crimson, but I'm gonna make it very watery and lighter shade of red I'm gonna start with. Let's make it like the mirror of this composition approximately. So I'm gonna start with side of my brush, press it down, make something like that, like a wiggly, ruffly shape. And now I'm gonna go with my darker red and just dab in at the center. I'm leaving that area white for now, the center, and I'm gonna add a few lines for the petals. Now I'm gonna go with my cadmium yellow and add a little bit of yellow to get that bright orangey red. And I can extend some of the petals, make more ruffly, just change the height of these petals. Now I'm gonna take my yellow, lemon yellow and ultramarine, and we'll create that really bright limeish green color. And I'm gonna paint like half a circle in the center, just like this. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to my reds and we'll start painting the bottom part of the flower. Gonna add darker red again, right closer to the center. Let it bleed, pull it a little bit toward the petals. And again, I would like with my wet brush just loosen up the edges a little bit. Go back to red and maybe add a couple of ruffles. And going to cadmium red and just dabbing in some cadmium around. And I will let it dry. Actually, let's fix the bottom petals. We're gonna extend some of them. And now I'm gonna let it dry before I add another layer and the glazing details. Okay, let's do the side looking poppy here. And it's very simple, so I'm going with that light, very diluted color and just using side of my brush. Going with cadmium, just dropping in cadmium red and my deep red right where the flower starts. Now we can go with clean brush and just make the edge a little bit looser. Same here. So I'm just kind of lifting the edge. And I would like to add green while it's still wet. So I'm just going with my dark green and add the tiny stem. Just like so. And I'm gonna wait for this one to dry as well. Going back to another flower. So I have my cadmium, and I would like to add a little bit of alizarin crimson, which is on a bluish side of red. The cadmium is more orange, this is more like purpley looking, so I need a good amount of water. And I'm just gonna go with side of my brush, create a couple of ruffles, and with clean brush gonna loose some edges, leaving that white in the center, going my darker red, dabbing in and pulling a little bit. So pretty. Okay, going to my green and paint that half a circle. We're gonna add more depth to the center of the flower. Okay, now we're gonna create the bottom petals just by wiggling some, creating those ruffles. So it kind of looks like lips. That's a top lip, this is the bottom lip. It's like kissing lips, about to kiss. And I'm adding darker red now and pulling towards the edges. Now with my damp brush, I'm gonna spread some. And now we'll add more of cadmium red or even orange to make that red look more interesting and vary in shade. And I'm gonna leave it just like so. Okay, I'll add another one right here. So we're just practicing poppies. So with side of the brush, I'm just creating ruffles, kind of like a half a circle. So with darker red, I'm dropping in my alizarin crimson here. And we'll pull it towards the petals. Now we're gonna add that green center. So need more blue, nice and bright. Here's the center. Now with these reds, I'm gonna go and finish the bottom of the flower. Darker red, I'm gonna add right in the center and let it bleed. Look how nicely it bleeds. Now with clean brush, I can just extend and loosen the edges and add some ruffles. And keep the shape of the poppy. Don't make them like too tiny, ruffly. Okay, I'll go and add a little bit of cadmium red. Yeah, it needs that orangey shade. Okay, now I will go with my greens and start creating some leaves. Here's stem. So you see I'm doing here as a pattern more than just the bouquet of poppies. So I'm just filling in the page. Just painting some funky leaves here. For now I'm using only one green, but I will add darker green. So let's I'm gonna add a bud here. So simple, oval looking shape. And it has that spiky looking details. And let's drop in tiny bit of red right at the tip. Now I'm gonna go with my perylene green and add a few darker greens in the stem, in the leaves, to make it look more interesting. Just in all of the stems, all of the leaves. So this one I'm gonna extend. And let's add another green leaf here. And right here. And I'm trying to fill in the spaces here, making it look as a pattern. And maybe we're gonna add another flower here. Yeah, let's add tiny red poppy. So we're using same reds, and I'm gonna do exactly the same thing here. Side of the brush, just creating like half of the flower. Dropping in darker at the center and loosening up the edge. So going to green, creating the center. I think I need a tiny bit more of the green. Here's our center. Can even drop in some more fresh for these. Now I'm going back to red and creating the other half of the flower. Dark red and dabbing in at the center and pulling towards the edges. Now with the brush, just kind of pulling. Okay, let's go more darker. And that's about it. Now I'm gonna wait for them to dry, and I'm gonna show you how I will add details. So all these flowers are dry now, and I'm going to my alizarin crimson, dark red, and I'm gonna start painting a few fine lines and extending them all the way almost to the edges of my petals. So all the way around, some thicker, some thinner, vary them in size, length, thickness. Now I'm gonna wash my brush, tap it off so it's nice and damp, and I'm gonna go with side of my brush and I'm gonna smudge some of them. You see how they bleed beautifully and creating that second layer of the petal. So I'm gonna dip in the darker red, and now we'll create petals. Some I just smudged and some I'm creating with my paint inside of the brush. Do you see? I'm starting from the edge and going towards the center. And I will vary the shades of red here to make it interesting. Now I'm going with my orange and doing the same thing. You see how instantly it creates the dimension, the depth in the petals. And I'll do the same for this flower. I'm starting with these fine lines with my really dark red, making some shorter, some longer, some really short, pulling up. Now with side of the brush, I'm gonna smudge some of them. And we'll create another layer of petals towards the center with side of the brush. You see how instantly we get that depth in the petals. Really pretty. Okay, check this one. I'm gonna go with my orangey color and pulling down to the center. How pretty. Pulling toward the center. Okay, doing this one, dark red. Trying not to go with my hand Some longer, some shorter. Cleaning my brush and just going in and smudging some of them. And now with orange, I'm going in from tip to center and lightly, gently creating those petals. So pretty. Okay, let's go to this one. Tap, tap. Some longer. Same thing, I'm smudging some. And going with my orange from the tip to the center, tip to the center. I'm gonna use my indigo, make that dark burgundy purplish color, and right at the center I'm gonna dab, dab, dab in some really dark reds. So this is not black yet. We're gonna do some black details right on top of that green when this layer dries, but for now I'm just adding more depth in the center of the flower. Dab, dab with burgundy color. And I will add a few splatters. I'm gonna wait for them to dry again before I do those black details in the center. And now I'm using my small brush, and just choose the one you're feeling comfortable with. I use number 4, but it has very fine point. And I don't use black. You can guys use paints gray. I like my indigo for my black. And I'll just do this tiny looking stems. And paint like a circly shape at the tip. Creating the stamens inside of that poppy flower. Just like this. And I will leave some of that center untouched, not gonna add them everywhere. Maybe a few dabs with black here. And same here. Gonna make the bottom with darker. And a few right at the top, but not covering the center. Okay, let's do here. Just a few. And those dabs, dabs. And same here. So I'm going kind of like around them, around the center. Just like this. Dab, dab for those circles, and a few at the top maybe. And that's about it. Yeah, and now with one final touch, I would like to add a glaze of yellow, just with clean yellow color, dabbing off some on paper towel, and just, you see how I'm adding that highlight, and it looks so beautiful now because it has that like brightness in it, in the petals. Just a little bit at the tips of the petals. So we're gonna do same here, 1 and 2. That's it, with side of your brush. 1 and 2 and maybe 3. I'm not coloring the whole petal, just to add some depth, and you'll see when I zoom it in. Dab, dab, dab. And I can even splatter some. And we'll do same yellow for the leaves. Just a few dabs. So if it was too much, we'll just lift it. But it instantly adds that fresh light. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope it was a helpful tutorial and you're gonna give it a try. Please drop a comment with your thoughts if you did try, if you are planning to. I would really like to hear from you. And I really thank my Patreon members and everyone here on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you and have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.